sense that maybe last night's meal might have left you with an undesirable breath. You find yourself running into a corner store looking for a packet of mints before you get there. Some time ago on the program, we met Dr. Jeffrey Speiser. Jeffrey's the director of the Australian Breath Clinic and says we are making some inroads in identifying what causes the onset of bad breath. It's Dental Health Week, and we thought a good time to get to the bottom of bad breath. Jeffrey, good morning to you once again.
Ian, it's nice to talk to you again.
And you. In what sort of circumstances would a person visit a professional for help?
When they've exhausted all other avenues. Look, bad breath being such an embarrassing condition, most people try their self-cures first. So they'll go down and swig some mouthwash, toothpaste. Then they go to the doctor and finally they'll end up at the dentist. So it usually happens in that order.
Do many people become aware of the bad breath themselves, or are they generally informed by others?
Unfortunately, they're informed by others because you can't smell your own bad breath. So it's usually an embarrassing time when they find out.
Hideously embarrassing, I would have thought. And what sort of a scale is there? Can you work out the scale, like from mild to, oh my God?
Look, the scale probably depends on the different smell that you're emitting when you have bad breath. Bad breath isn't one smell, it's a multitude of different things. So they're all offensive odours, but they go from rotten eggs to fecal to cabbage and gasoline.
Good grief. What do we know about the causes?
Well, we see a lot of people going through this clinic, and as far as we're concerned, every one of them is a bacterial problem in the mouth. It's a build-up of coatings on the tongue, the teeth, and the back of the throat that seems to be causing the problem.
What about licking the back of your hand and smelling it? Does that work?
It does to a degree, because what you're doing there, you're passing the sulfur compounds, which are the smells of bad breath, onto the back of your hand, and then you're actually smelling those sulfur compounds. So to a degree that works, but it's a very inaccurate measure.
Now, I believe new technology is helping to identify.
Yeah, look, this is mind-blowing. Since when I spoke to you last time, we were just getting this machine in from Japan, and It's been a godsend. It's the first machine. It's called gas chromatography. So, big word, but basically what it does, it will break down the gases of bad breath to the three main gases so that we can then identify the main source in the mouth and throat where the problem is coming from, and then sort of a more definite treatment of it.
And what sort of sources are they mainly in the mouth and throat?
All right, well, look, the main source, what we're finding is basically the main source is the tongue surface.
Yep.
So it all relies on that if you haven't cleaned the surface for more than 24 hours, that's when you'll start to get your smells. So people that aren't tongue cleaning morning and night, they will get smells off their tongue. People that are not flossing and cleaning their teeth every day will start to get smells from their teeth and their floss. And you always hear about people say, oh, look, I do it 3 or 4 times a week, but when I floss, the floss smells.
Right.
Well, that's because you've left it for more than a day. And then the third source is mucus at the back of the throat. So people that get a lot of mucus, or people that take medicines that dry up the mucus, that mucus sits for more than 24 hours, it starts to give off smells. So
change of diet and that sort of thing is not usually recommended?
Change of diet goes a long way because the diet provides the food source for the bacteria that are living in those coatings. So if you take away their food source, there's going to be less bacteria there.
With this machine that you've got from Japan, how does that work? Do people just blow into it, or...?
It's probably the easiest test we've had. All you do is you just take a disposable plastic syringe, you get them to close their mouth around the syringe for a minute, suck up 0.5 ml of air from their mouth. That then goes to a machine and gets injected into this gas chromatography machine, and basically the results come back out 8 minutes later. All the machine is doing, it's superheating the gas sample so that it actually vaporizes. And as each individual compound vaporizes, it gives off a little electric signal. And so we can exactly identify that particular compound. And
I suppose then once you have found out what's causing the problem, you can more effectively treat it.
Exactly. I mean, for example, the old technique was everything was measured in parts of sulfur per billion air samples. And if you were over 150 parts of sulfur, you were considered to be a problem, and under 150 you weren't. Now, that was all fine, but let's take an example of someone that just measured 50 parts per billion. You turned around and said to them, well, you're fine, you don't have a problem. But if that 50 parts per billion is all coming from one gas, then you do have a problem. So it helps you diagnose a lot of people that have been called halatophobics, people that have phobias about bad breath. They actually do have a problem.
Right. Now, it's Wednesday, and usually on Wednesdays we talk food on the breakfast program. Bear in mind it's 16 minutes to 7. I have already eaten, about 10 minutes ago, a garlic and parmesan-encrusted lamb chop.
Well, I'm glad we're talking down the phone line, but you're probably going to be a lot worse in about 2 hours' time when that bacteria has had a bit of a feast on that food.
Right, yeah, I better get home in time to brush the teeth then.
Yes.
Jeffrey, good talking to you this morning. Thanks for your time.
It's a pleasure, Ian. Thank you very much.